Every servant in Chaldea liked Christmas a lot, but Melusine, who lived in Master's walls, did not. Melusine hated Christmas the whole Christmas season, and if you wonder why, it is quite the simple reason. It takes up much too much of Master's time. Making merry when she needs to be kept warm is quite the crime. But I think there might be something a bit more. Perhaps it has to do with her feelings being sore. Whatever the reason, be it for warmth or her heart, she stood there on Christmas Eve, feeling quite tart. Staring through the crowd with a sour fey-like frown, as everyone gathered, wondering who'd have Santa's crown. She knew every year a new Saint Nick would arrive, and that was when a scheme began to thrive. "I know just what to do," Melusine laughed in her throat, and she nabbed a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. She chuckled and clucked, "What a great dragon trick! Before anyone else, I'll take on the role of Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer," Melusine mused with delight. Just like those before her, she'll have Master with her all night. Now, the only problem was if the real Santa servant came. Them spoiling her fun would be quite the shame. So she would need a second part to her plan. Something devilish, rotten, and really quite grand. If I simply take away all the Christmas presents and lights, then it will never happen, won't even put up any fights. With her scheme now unfolding and lips curled to a grin, Melusine got to work, committing her Christmas sin. No need for a sleigh, she flew into the night, taking Master in tow and giving them quite the fright. No protests heeded, no worries eased. Melusine just continued on, feeling ever so pleased. "This is stop number 1, Melusine said, touching down in the snow. She never stopped to wonder how she knew where to go. Then she slid down the chimney, quite quick with her flat chest. The fastest Santa of all, she knew she was the best. She hit the bottom in just a moment or two, then she stuck out her head out of the fireplace flue, where little red stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, she grinned, are the first things to go. In a blur she went, with a smile surprisingly pleasant, around the whole room, and she took every present. Embers and medals, fur resembling a tail, St. Courts, monuments, tickets, even a grail. So happy she was, her plan going so smooth. Melusine then grabbed the tree, her feelings starting to soothe, when she heard a small sound like the click of a heel. She turned around fast and saw something to make her reel. A little Bavon Sith, made into a form quite young, a very different creature from the one with the sharp tongue. Melusine wondered what had caused this change. Perhaps it was the queen, whose whims were quite strange. She stared at Melusine and said, "Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why?" And you know that though Melusine can be quite cruel, she looked at this girl with pity, feeling quite the fool. "Why, my sweet little fay," the fake Santa Claus lied, "there's a light on this tree that won't light on one side, so I was going to replace it with a grander tree than this. And I'll be back, quick as you like, so go off to bed, little miss." And her fib fooled the child, then she patted her head, and she got her a drink, and she sent her to bed. Melusine looked to Master, who wore a knowing smile. She gave a sigh, at least knowing she'd have them for a while. And the night continued on with her flipping and flopping, trying to steal Christmas, only to end up shopping. Selfish as she is, Melusine is still a knight, and can't help but do what she feels is right. With Master by her side and a grail in her hand, Melusine accidentally became the best Santa in the land. Hey there, party people! That was my idea for a Melusine Christmas event story, presented as a homage to How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I had a lot of fun taking the poem, cutting it down, and making it into what you just saw. And I hope you enjoyed it too. The Santa Melu Sprite was made up by famed Sprite editor Ray, who you should go give some love this holiday season by using the links in the description below. And one last thing before I leave you. If you're wondering about the Sith Lily, the idea was that Morgan turned her young, wanting her precious child to experience a happy childhood Christmas, which is why the Grail was there. And yes, that does mean Melusine stole the Santa position from Morgan. It would just make for a fun final boss of the event where she is absolutely livid at first, but comes around when she sees Sith being genuinely happy. That kind of pure Christmas crack that I personally cannot get enough of. Anyway, with all that said, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to you all. I'll catch you next time in the void. Later.